Thank you very much, Genesis Gold Group, for sponsoring this video.
Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Ladies and gentlemen, guess what time it is right now? Today is, I believe it's the 27th of June, and it is now about 12:30 in the morning, i.e. midnight 30. And look at this. A lot of people have asked me in the past, how much sunlight do you get during the summer? Well, you can see it's 12:40 in the morning. It might be 12:40 by now. But I just thought that I'd show you this to start off the video. And yep, there's a little tease of the chicken coop there. It's almost done, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so we'll be getting our chickens here pretty soon. I would say probably within a week or so. All right, I wanted to talk about today how the United States, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get it from the start. So a couple, 2-3 days ago, I did a video on how the FDA has approved the manufacturing, I'm going to say, of cultured meats. So pretty much they've approved a company to make meats out of a machine instead of making meat the way that it's been made forever, which is raising animals and then harvesting their meat, right? So now they can culture meat and grow meat in a lab, pretty much, right? So I was thinking to myself, you know what? You know, how many countries are going to go for this? And right now, the United States is the second country to make this legal. All right. And I'm okay with it as long as people eat it because they want to eat it. If they want to do it by choice, if they want to take the risk of whatever may bring with having meat grown in a lab, go ahead. You know, it's your freedom. You use it however you want, right? But don't make people do it. Don't legislate it into people's daily lives because I'm pretty sure that most people don't want that stuff. But I started thinking about the U.S., about how sick the U.S. is. You know, for the wealthiest nation in the world, in quotes, right? For the wealthiest nation in the world, per capita, I think the United States of America is probably the sickest country in the world.
I had to come in the bunker, ladies and gentlemen. The mosquitoes were eating me alive, and I'm not working outside at this time, so there was no sense in me turning on one of my thermocells. But as I was talking out there about how unhealthy the American people are, I believe that a lot of this has to do with the food and the system by which our food is governed, ladies and gentlemen. The system by which the government says what can go in our food and all that kind of stuff, what you know, big corporations can get away with. You know, just looking at a few numbers in the United States of America, this is a huge number, and I bet you not very many people know about this, because if they did know this number in the mainstream, they would probably make better choices or better decisions on what kind of foods they ate. Now, oh, sorry, dog is over here and Karma is back here too. I'm not sure if you can see her or not. But like 40% of all Americans, ladies and gentlemen, there's 330 million roughly people in the United States of America. About 40% of everyone that resides here in the United States of America, to include children, are either diabetic or pre-diabetic. Isn't that incredible? And still, you know, we have so much sugar in most of our foods, and still meat products and animal products are told to people that these are the bad things, but that's okay. Eat your bread, eat your processed bread and stuff like that. No wonder we're so sick as a nation. We're obviously one of the, if not the most obese nation in the world, to include myself. All right, it's like nowadays large for us is what small used to be 20-30 years ago. So now if you grab a large shirt or something like that, it's like normal. You know, it's normal to be a large nowadays, whereas 20, 30, 40 years ago it was normal to be a medium or a small. In the United States of America, the cancer rates are incredible. Heart disease is incredible, ladies and gentlemen. It's like numbers that are really, really high. I believe heart disease is like 700,000 or so deaths a year. And then cancer is another 500,000 or 600,000 deaths a year. And the list goes on and on and on. We are the most medicated nation in the world. And what is the common denominator to all the illnesses that we have here in the United States, to the illnesses, to the diabetes, to the heart problems, to cancers. I believe the common denominator is the food. And I believe that also many other countries in the world know this to be true. Why? Because there's a whole bunch of foods that are okay for us to consume here, as far as the law goes, as far as the government or the FDA saying, hey, you can go ahead and consume this. There's nothing wrong with it. All right, go ahead and eat this. You're going to be okay. Even though they say that to us, many other countries out in the world, they look in on us and say, hey, we are not going to get that. We are not going to allow that to be eaten by our citizens. So I came across this short article that I'm going to try to go through very quickly, and I will leave the link to this on a pinned comment so that you can go revisit it. So I think it's very interesting, of a whole bunch of different types of foods that are okay for us to consume here in the United States of America, but other countries ban them and say there's no way we're going to allow that here in our country. Now, a disclaimer really quick, some of these foods may have already been disapproved here in the United States. I think there's maybe one or two that we run into where the US said, yeah, we're not approving this for human consumption anymore after all of the years that we've already been consuming it. We're not approving it, but that's a step in the right direction, right? So let's go ahead and let's get through the list. Farm-raised salmon, ladies and gentlemen. Farm-raised salmon available in America is fed. I'm going to try to pronounce these names, but I'll probably mess them up, okay? It is fed as taxanthin to give it its coral color. Salmon containing this petrochemical is banned for consumption in Australia and New Zealand. So your farm-raised salmon is given a chemical so that it can have the color that it has. Isn't that something, ladies and gentlemen? Let me see, dairy. All right, dairy. Dairy with RBST hormones, milk in the United States, unless marked otherwise, is treated with either RBST or RBGH, which are artificial hormones that stimulate milk production. Isn't that something? The FDA, however, ladies and gentlemen, you have nothing to worry about. The FDA says that there is no difference in the milk produced by cows treated with the hormone, but countries like Canada and those in the European Union ban it. I would never imagine that Mountain Dew is not good for you, ladies and gentlemen. It says that this citrus flavored soft drink uses brominate, which is a vegetable oil, BVO, as an emulsifier. And BVO is banned in Japan and the European Union because it contains bromine. Bromine or bromine. The element found in brominate, flame retardants, which can build up in the body and potentially lead to memory loss as well as skin and nerve problems. I think that this BVO, after doing a little bit of research, I think that this BVO is no longer used in the Mountain Dew products, right? But do your own research, ladies and gentlemen. I find this very interesting. Chicken, ladies and gentlemen. It seems that the chicken here in the United States is chlorinated. Okay, it is banned in the United Kingdom and the European Union because it promotes unsanitary farming practices. So it seems that the chicken, when it's being processed, is dipped in a batch of chlorine or chlorine tainted water, whatever, to sanitize it. And the reason it's banned in other places, not because it's got chlorine in it, but because it promotes unhealthy farming practices. But I don't think that chlorine is good for you either. But I'm not a medical professional. I would just happen to say that chlorine doesn't occur in water naturally. It's something that we add to the water in order to try to kill bacteria and viruses and stuff like that, if chlorine even kills viruses. Meat, let's see. Meat with ractopamine or ractopamine. In the United States, farmers use ractopamine to increase lean muscle growth in livestock. So it's kind of like a steroid, I guess, included in 40 to 60% of American pigs. Wow. 160 nations, ladies and gentlemen, out of the 95 nations in the world, 160, including the European Union, Russia, and China, banned the use of the drug in their meat production. Little Debbie's, please say it isn't so, ladies and gentlemen. Little Debbie's has yellow number 5, number 40. You're going to see that that's a theme, a concurrent theme throughout a lot of the foods that are on this list. That red number 40 and yellow number 5 and also the blue, I think it is. They're very, very bad for you, ladies and gentlemen. While they are now permitted in the European Union, they have to carry warnings that they cause adverse effects in children. Now, why would you want to eat that if it causes adverse effects in anything? Why, ladies and gentlemen, look, I don't consider this the fault of the people, all right? We have been hoodwinked, all right? You know, you're inundated with commercials. Children are inundated with commercials, you know, all day long about these little things. And they don't tell you what's in it. They don't tell you at the time that they're trying to sell this stuff what is in it and that you shouldn't be eating this. And unfortunately, for some of us, it takes a lot longer for us to wake up than for others, all right? They are banned foods for infants and young children. No such warning is required domestically. So here in the U.S., we don't have to warn. We have to warn people that cigarettes are bad for you, but we don't have to warn people that these kinds of foods are bad for you as well. It's what I like to call slow kill. And I don't think that this is conspiratorial at all. Slow kill is when you are fed something that is really bad for you, but in a very small amount, and then over time, it builds up in your body to where you end up getting an illness that you can't recover from. But anyways, Swiss rolls, ladies and gentlemen. And I would have to say that probably all the other, you know, cakes and desserts that are made in this form probably have the same ingredients, just a different shape. Let's see. This fast food chain uses a chemical. Let's give it a try. Azodicarbonamide. Azodicarbonamide, right? As a whitening agent and dough conditioner in its baked goods. And they say that although its use is decreasing in the United States because of concerns that it is a carcinogen, the FDA still permits it. It is banned in Europe, however. Wow. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Your sourdough, breakfast bread, croissant, and French toast at this popular chain here. It's banned in other places because of carcinogens, but the FDA says, hey, you, Mr. and Mrs. America, go ahead and eat it. Say it isn't so. Frosted Flakes. Frosted Flakes to include Honey Bunches of Oats and Rice Krispies. These popular breakfast cereals contain BHT, a flavor enhancer which has long been studied for its potential carcinogenic properties. The evidence is inconclusive. It is banned in Japan and the European Union. Frosted Flakes. I don't know how many boxes of those I've eaten in my life, ladies and gentlemen. And our little coffee creamer here, trans fats. I wasn't aware that trans fats have been banned in the United States of America since 18 June of 2018. Yeah, I wasn't aware of that, ladies and gentlemen, but trans fats are banned in the U.S., but don't they still add that stuff to the ingredients list of many products? I believe so, and this is one of them right here, Coffee Mate. Stove top, not stop. Stove top stuffing. Incredible. The mix contains preservatives such as BHA and BHT, which are suspected to be carcinogenic and to impair blood clotting. Incredible. I love stovetop. I haven't had it in a long time, and I probably will never have it again, but incredible. And these, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of these foods that I'm showing you here, these are all like iconic foods for the United States. So just imagine how many people are eating these foods and they don't even know what's in them. For those of you that are new here, let me take a quick minute. First of all, thank you very much for joining our community. But yes, you see that the name of this channel is Alaska Prepper. But I talk about a whole bunch of different stuff here. You know, like obviously this food stuff is something that I find very interesting, all right? That I hadn't really thought of before, about how many other countries ban the foods that our government here says is good for us to eat. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. So, you know, on this channel, ladies and gentlemen, if you're new here, I don't just cover prepping stuff. There's only so many ways that I can show you how to put away rice and beans, which, of course, I do have a video coming out on that. Putting away some rice that I've been keeping for like the last 3.5, almost 4 years in its original packaging to see if it's still good. But anyways, I digress on that. I just want to let you know that even though there's like mainly a prepping channel to get people prepared, wake people up to the reasons why they need to get prepared, actionable intel, I like to cover pretty much anything that I find interesting. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's how these articles make it to the cut, or make the cut. So the drumsticks, ladies and gentlemen, you know, the ones that have the little bit of chocolate all the way in the bottom? Drumsticks use carrageenan for texture in its ice cream. And the additive is derived from seaweed, and it can affect the human digestive system, and it's banned in the European Union, especially in products that contain baby food or baby food products. Skittles, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, these are iconic things here, iconic foods. Skittles, yellow number 5, number 6, and red number 40, which are supposedly very, very bad for you. Wheat Thins. Weren't Wheat Thins advertised as something that's healthy for you? To add freshness to the package of Wheat Thins, Nabisco adds BHT to the packaging. I'm not a financial advisor, but the folks at Genesis Gold Group specialize in helping those who want to diversify their excess wealth by converting their fiat currency retirement plans into a plan that is backed by real money. So if you're in a position where you are wondering what you can do in order to diversify or insulate your wealth against what I like to call the inferno of inflation, give Genesis Gold Group a call, and they can provide you with the information that you need in order to make an educated decision. Once again, thank you very much, Genesis Gold Group, for sponsoring this video. Gatorade, ladies and gentlemen. How many of you have seen those commercials where there's an NFL star or some kind of sports star saying, drink your Gatorades, even though it's full with red number 40, yellow number 5, yellow number 6. But maybe this one right here doesn't have red number 40 specifically, but you know that the red Gatorades probably have that red number 40. And I guess all of these colors are all artificial. They're all man-made, scientifically produced products. So let me ask you a question real quick. Let's go off topic for a tiny bit. If these man-made products like yellow number 5, yellow number 6, things like that, that are artificial, right, that are not of nature, if these products are not good for you, do you really think that a piece of meat that is made in a lab, in a machine, is going to be good for you, ladies and gentlemen? Maybe at first they'll start out saying that it's good for you, just like these products. At first they're like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with smoking cigarettes. Smoke away. It's really cool. Then 50 years fast forward, even though for some reason they're still, legal, which I believe they should be legal. If you want to smoke it and you want to endanger your health, that's up to you. It's your body. It's your freedom. Do what it is that you want to do with it, right? With the cigarettes. I think that if a man wants to smoke a cigarette or a woman wants to smoke a cigarette, smoke your cigarette, as long as you're not hurting anybody else. But it's kind of odd how in the beginning they tell you, oh yeah, stuff is great, it's good, go get it, go buy it. And then years later, ladies and gentlemen, they come out and say, hey, you probably shouldn't be drinking this or eating this or maybe doing this stuff. You know what I mean? It's only been a couple of years, but we're already starting to see a lot of the effects from it. Pop-Tarts, say it isn't so. It's full of yellow number 5, 6, red number 40, which is still deemed safe here to eat in the United States of America. But anyway, Farmer John's pork breakfast sausage links, they have BHT. Lucky Charms. Lucky Charms aren't so lucky because they are full of yellow number 5, 6, and red number 40. And our bread, ladies and gentlemen, our loaf bread, it's tainted with potassium bromate. Listen to this. Potassium bromate is added to bread as a strengthener that creates a high rise, reduces baking time and cost, and gives finished loaves a bright white color. But the chemical is also linked to cancer, nervous system damage, and kidney damage. So for that nice little white loaf of bread, ladies and gentlemen, that is so nice and squishy, right? And in some cases tasty. Most of it really tastes like air, if I remember correctly. You're taking the risk of cancer, nervous system damage, and kidney damage as well. It's a heck of a shame, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? Tostitos salsa con queso dip, yellow number 5 and yellow number 6 in your cheese. Ritz crackers, ladies and gentlemen, another icon. It contains partially hydrogenated cottonseed oil, which is a trans fat that is currently banned domestically and in many other countries. Ladies and gentlemen, seed oils, when they were first invented, and the reason I say that seed oils were invented is because seed oils don't occur naturally, at least the way that they make them, right? The hydrogenated part. When seed oils were first produced, they were produced in order so that they can use them to grease and oil machinery because they were so cheap to produce. So they used them to grease and oil machinery. And now well, for the last several years, if not decades, they've been used for human consumption. I've never heard of this brand of sparkling water, but it's Fresca, and it contains a flame retardant, which is called bromine, to prevent the separation of its ingredients. Incredible. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. GMO papaya. I guess that most of the papaya, if not all of the papaya that comes from Hawaii, is GMO. And this GMO papaya is banned in the European Union. Obviously, it says that they are genetically engineered papayas and are legal to eat in the U.S. and Canada, but illegal in the EU. And I'm not sure what kind of studies they may have done on GMO papaya, but I would say that if GMO papaya is not good for you because it's GMO, then what other stuff that's GMO may not be good for you either, ladies and gentlemen, like maybe the corn. I believe it's like most of our corn is restricted or banned from other countries because we have GMO corn as well. Pillsbury biscuits, ladies and gentlemen, contains trans fats in the form of partially hydrogenated soybean oil, which is known to cause heart disease. Incredible. But I thought it was meat. I thought it was meat that causes heart disease. Come to find out, these seed oils are probably not that good for you. Sunkist soda, yellow number 6 and red number 40. That's all we have to say about that. And fudge brownies from Betty Crocker says contains trans fats in the form of partially hydrogenated soybean and or cottonseed oil. This pie crust is banned in the United Kingdom, Japan, and parts of Europe because it contains BHA and BHT. And I think that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the rest of this list. I'm going to leave the link to this on a pinned comment. That way you can come and revisit it if you'd like. I just thought that it'd be interesting to go over this to show you all just a small sample of how many foods we are told here in the United States, for the most part, that, hey, go ahead and buy it and consume it. There's nothing wrong with this because we said that it's good. But when you have countries looking inside from the outside, they're like, whoa, we're not going to be allowing our citizens to eat that. So, ladies and gentlemen, we just have to learn to think for ourselves and maybe think outside the box a little bit in order to maybe have a healthier life. I'm a little bit saddened, but not really in a way, because you can still teach an old dog new tricks. But I'm a little bit saddened that it took me this long in life to realize this and to pay attention and to listen to those people that are trying to warn me about my health. Unfortunately, it took me, acquiring a chronic illness that most Americans, or at least 40% of Americans have, right? Diabetes, for me to actually finally wake up. But hopefully it's not too late. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So having said that, I hope that you have a great rest of your day. I may put out another video later on today. I do have to do, well, I have a few review videos coming up here in the next couple of weeks. But I may put another video up later on today. Other than that, I hope that you have a great day, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the summertime. Get out there, do a little bit of prepping, but make sure that you take some time to smell the roses. God bless every one of you. God bless America. I'm Alaska Prepper. I'm out.